If it weren't for the air ambulance and the other services on the day, then I know that I wouldn't be here today. Sorry. Sorry.
You don't want to talk about anything?
No, it's fine. I'll just go get a tissue. Sorry. No, it's fine, I don't mind, because they're only... We've definitely, come a long way since it all happened, and we've not moved on, because I don't think we ever will move on. It's always going to be part of his life.
Yeah, I don't think the chapter will ever close, but
no.
I think it's just a different part of his life, that's all.
Yeah. So on that day, me and my boyfriend at the time were on a date. We went straight to the Smiler ride. It was the first ride, we were lining up. There were lots of technical difficulties, but I've been to theme parks before and I never thought anything of it. I was just like, oh yeah, it's normal, we'll just wait and see what happens. And then we finally got to the front and it broke down again. So they sent a test cart round, and then about 20 minutes later, they set us back off again. Everything were fine. And then we came round the corner and they were just the empty cart that they'd sent round were just stuck, and we just crashed straight into it. We were swinging backwards and forwards for probably about 5 minutes, and then we eventually came to a stop.
I think if I remember rightly, it was compared to a car accident, driving into a car at 90 mile an hour, something like that. So it was pretty severe.
Everyone around that were just stood looking at the ride were just taking pictures, filming. So that weren't nice. And then I looked down at my legs and realised that something wasn't right. Looked at Joe, and Joe's little finger were hanging off.
The injuries that I sustained were 2 shattered kneecaps. My little finger was basically snapped off my hand, which had to be reattached, and my middle finger was also severed and incredibly damaged.
I think it took us about 4 hours to get off the ride. They had to build scaffolding to get us down, and so that the medical team could get up to us. The air ambulance were flying blood in for me because I was just losing that much blood. I had to have my left leg above the knee amputated. I had cruciate ligament damage in my right knee. Lots of other injuries. I spent 5 days in intensive care. So these cards are what I received in hospital from people that I know and from strangers that just sent them to the hospital hoping that they'd get to me. And you can see how many there is. There's just a lot. There's hundreds. There's absolutely hundreds.
The whole box is completely filled.
They're just full of thinking of you, get well soon. They just gave me a little boost. I was in hospital for 8 weeks, and to be in the same routine every day, waking up, go to physio, I'd come back, I'd get a shower. It was just so structured and just so routine in hospital, and it was the bubble of the perfect flat floor. My friends would come and sleep at the hospital, and we'd just sit and chat and order a Chinese, and it was like being back at home, that little bit of normality and feeling like a 17-year-old again. And then this is when I left hospital. That was my first interview. I'd been in the bubble of the hospital and then coming home, and my body being completely different to the last time I was there. Were just lots of navigating life in a normal surrounding, not in a hospital surrounding. So yeah, it was quite difficult at the start.
We had to kind of learn not only how to walk again and live again, but kind of how to build a relationship again with each other. At the time, it really doesn't feel it at all. Myself and Leah were both in very dark places when the accident happened. We had a lot going around us, whether that be physio appointments, solicitors, media interviews. We were thrown into a world that we never expected to be in, pretty much.
We weren't just navigating the changes in our body, but we're also navigating this new relationship, navigating solicitors, navigating media. But looking back now, me and Joe staying together and sticking together, we were such a good support for each other. Yeah, his injuries were there and everything else around us were going off, but we still had that relationship and still had that friendship that helped us get through everything that we were both dealing with, that we'd both experienced, has definitely made our bond a lot stronger.
Fast forward 10 years, I'm in a really good position. We're both really happy. We're now married. We're almost a year into his marriage. We've got a beautiful home together. Yeah, we couldn't be happier.
So not only did I have my friends and family as support and help, but I also had Stuart's Law, who I had a very good relationship with.
Leah was young when I first met her. She was only 17, and for her to go through that process and be injured in the way that she was is quite terrifying for her. When someone so young as Leah is injured, their family is so important to them, so it's important to include the family as well as part of your discussions. When you first meet them, the family will most certainly always be there, and it's lovely actually because you get to know them so well.
If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have a clue where to start, and it was my first experience dealing with a claim, and it just made things a lot smoother and a lot easier for me and my family, to be honest.
Myself and Leah were lucky enough to have Stuart's pretty much from day one. They helped with every aspect of the claim. They were there for support with family, even friends. If friends needed to talk to anybody, they were there for that as well.
We take off from them as much of the stress of everything around them that's going on to allow them to concentrate upon their rehabilitation and their therapies, which is so important and crucial to them at that stage. I think just being involved with the clients and their families and just speaking to them and being their support is probably one of my favourite things, actually. It's just helping them through those difficult times.
They were always there to answer my calls, my emails, my queries, chase things up, do all the things that my brain at 17 and with everything else going off just couldn't cope with. They were there all the time.
When you get to the final result and the final settlement, you are proud of what you achieve. You're proud of what your clients, that they've managed to go through that process and that they will get a life that they will enjoy. And I think that's one of the best things that we can hope for our clients, is that they go forward, they move on, and they do so with as comfortable a life as possible.
Although it's been a tragic incident in his life, it's fetched a lot of
good
happiness and experiences that we would have never experienced if it weren't for what happened. So you've always got to find the positive in the negative and just got to grab life because it's so precious and make the most of it.